ओम शांति। आज की जो हम स्टार्ट करेंगे जो लेसन वो हम 30th पेज से स्टार्ट करेंगे। और पार्ट 3 में बाबा ने बोला, इफ सो यू आर व्हेन यू आर कैरिंग आउट इन अ फिजिकल टास्क, due to some reason it is unfinished, you try to complete it, do you not? In the same way, you should keep the aim of accomplishing this daily task by paying special attention to one thing. You receive extra power. You will have the awareness whenever you carry out any task, and you will then become the embodiment of a remembrance. Baba says, in your external studies, also, when you are making a lesson firm, you have to learn it once, twice, thrice, or even 4 times. You do not stop until you have truly made that lesson firm. In the same way, constantly keep the aim of finishing each aspect. There mustn't be any carelessness in this. You think about something, create a plan, and when situation comes in front of you, when you are doing it practically, then when there is the determination in your thinking that you have to do it, then according to that determination, you will bring perfection close to you. At this present time, you have the plans, but what is lacking in them? Determination. That's what Baba says. You do not have a determined thought. You have the weakness of not paying special attention to show this. The Maharathis, that is, the elevated serviceable souls, should also pay attention to self service as well as service, right? Self service and then the service. So Baba says this on 1705 in 1973. Then Baba says they stabilize themselves in the stage of the type of song they are going to sing. If when singing a sad song, they do not create a sad consciousness, then those who hear the song would not enjoy it. When even those who sing or record these Lokik songs pay so much attention, then do you, who fill the unlimited record, and by that means Baba is saying that you are right now creating an unlimited record for your jans to come, for your birds to come. So who fill the record for the whole kalpa, pay attention to all these things at all times. Do you have the attention that the recording is, is being recorded at every second? Do you pay this much attention? If whilst recording you become lazy, alasya, or lose enthusiasm, ullas, then what would the record be like? Does anyone become lazy whilst recording? So when you are recording, do you also become lazy or do you constantly maintain your enthusiasm? Do you, as a detached observer, sometimes look to see what you have recorded in your record throughout the whole day? So we have to be very vigilant of that we are recording for the whole entire kalpa. And this is for 30th of 5, 1973. Baba says, just as a warrior puts all people and all comforts to one side and only keeps the battle and victory in his intellect, he keeps himself engaging in fulfilling his aim. In the same way, ask yourself, do you have the aim of just these two things? Or is there something else in your awareness too? Have you become such warriors? No matter where you may be, always have the awareness that you are the warriors on the battlefield. Warriors never like to rest. Warriors are never lazy or careless. They are never without their weapons. They always carry these with them. They are never under the influence of fear. They are always fearless. So Baba says warriors never keep anything except the battle in their intellect. They always have the attitude of battling and the consciousness of attaining victory. So are you also victorious with one another in the same way? Do you see one another with this vision? In the same way, a spiritual warrior would always maintain this vision. We are all Mahavirs and victorious at every second and at every step. We are on the battlefield. Do you just have the one deep concern for being victorious? Have you detached your intellect from all relationships and all the facilities provided by matter? Have you stepped aside from all this? So, whilst being on the battlefield, are the strings of the intellect still engaged with the relationships and the facilities of the matter? Do you consider yourself to be completely free, or are you still dependent on others for something? That's a great question to ask yourself every day, or every moment, I should say. The This was said on 13/06/1973, Murli. So next paragraph, Baba says, just as you can see the closeness of time, in the same way you are able to see the closeness and similarity of your stage. Just as people of the world are waiting for the time, in the same way are you, who are the instrument for inspiring establishment and destruction, busy in making preparations for completing your task and creating your stage? Or is it that those who are making the preparations have become careless and those who are waiting have become very fast? What do you think? Are you making your preparations with great force, or are you souls, the one who are the instrumental for making preparations, are also thinking in the same way as the people of the world do, that we should see about it when it happens? You do not think that you will consider what happens when it happens, do you? So this is what Baba is ringing the bell in our head. This is also known as carelessness. So we have to check our statements that we tell to ourselves. Now, in order to complete such a huge task, you need to make a lot of preparations. Do you know what preparations you need to make? Does Sanskar have to carry out does Shankar have to carry out this task? You are not waiting for Shankar, wondering when he will inspire destruction, are you? How and when the flames of destruction emerge? Who was instrumental for that? Was it Shankar or the father and the Brahman children who created the sacrificial fire? Since the sacrificial fire was created for the task of establishment, the flames of destruction also emerge at the same time as the sacrificial fire was created. So, who is the one who will make the flames of destruction powerful? You are together with the Father in this, are you not? So, it is not Shankar, but those who will start the fire, who also have to finish it, become the form of fire, the same as Shankar, and finish the flames of destructions that you started. After the fire started, when the prey is burning, the fire is made intense every now and then. So, how big would these flames of destructions be? In order to accomplish this task, the instrument souls have to be stoked in order to make them fast. How should they be stoked? With your hands or with the stick? You have to make the flames of destruction intense with your thought. Does the thought emerge to become such a form of fire and intensify the flames of destruction, or do you think it is not your task? So this was said on 3rd February 1974. At present, two main weaknesses are visible in the majority. You will be able to finish these and become the embodiment of success over the two of them when you accomplish this task. The weaknesses are laziness and carelessness. The method of finishing these weaknesses is to become a checker, Baba says. In 99% of effort making, laziness and carelessness are visible in the form of some trace or progeny. progeny. What is the trace of it in the Maharathis? What is the progeny of it in the horse riders? Do you know these? The trace of it is the thought, the nature or my sanskar, my nature or my sanskar. This is not my intention, but my words, my eyes, my features is revealed it. There are signs of it, but there is not the form and there is the trace of it. Laziness or and the royal form of carelessness are obstructions to becoming victorious in attaining the perfect stage. What is the progeny of this in the horse riders or those who will pass in the second division? What is their form? What is their trademark in their every word? What are the words of laziness and carelessness? There are experts in constantly giving points and making up stories which keep themselves safe. They are very active in making themselves blameless and putting the blame on others. They are lawyers but not lawful. Just as lawyers put forward a false case as the truth and put the blame on those who are blameless. In the same way, those who are in the second division will never reveal themselves to be guilty, even if they know it was their fault. This is why they are lawyers but not lawful. The trademarks in the words of such souls is, did I do this? Did I say this? I didn't have anything in my mind. What does it matter once it has emerged? It has happened. So what does it matter? So what does it matter? I will put it right. In their words will have the trademark. So what? What does it matter? Question mark. In relating the knowledge of this world cycle, you tell the whole story by relating what happened next. What happened after the golden age was that the silver age came. And what happened next was the copper age came. In relating what happened next, you tell the whole story. In the same way, souls who are lawyers on the basis of relating what next spins the whole cycle onto other souls. They put themselves forward as detached observers beyond blame and free themselves. With the words of what next, that is, with this one thought, the progeny of carelessness and royal laziness increase internally, so that instead of such souls becoming powerful, they become weak. This is the form of progeny of laziness and carelessness in the souls of the second division. That is, those who are horse riders. In order to finish the trace and the progeny of it, it is extremely essential to become your own checker. In 8 days, you become a checker for one day and remain you become checker for one day and remain careless for 7 days. And so would you create sanskar, or what would you do for 7 days? Or what would you do for one day? Instead of being alert, you become easy and lazy. What would be the result of such souls? Can such souls become master world benefactors and the great donors and bestowers of blessings of all powers? Therefore, whatever form of these two weaknesses you have, whether a trace or a progeny, only if you finish them from now, you will be able to become a bead in the rosary of victory, according to the sanskar of being victorious over a long period of time. This was said in 1806, 1974. Then Baba says, as soon as Amrit Vela begins, all the children everywhere make the effort to dial the number. That is to make a connection. Some children, because of having a clear line, are able to get a connection very quickly, whereas others spend their time in getting the connection. Some children become disheartened because they cannot connect with the number. Some children dial the father's number but are connected to the Maya in between. Maya interferes in such a way that they're not able to break away even when they want to. Here also, when you sometimes get connected to a wrong number, the other person does not put the phone down, even when you ask them to. You will tell the other person to ring off, and the other person will tell you to ring off. In the same way, Maya also breaks the connection of the weak children and causes them distress. There's a reason why she causes them distress, because those children are under the influence of laziness and carelessness throughout the day. They pay very little attention. Maya also seeks revenge on such careless souls at the time of receiving blessings by not allowing them to follow Baba's direction. The scene of such souls were very amazing. At Amrit Vela, their form is only visible for a short time. Sometimes, in order to seek cooperation from the Father, they put in the request with a lot of love. Sometimes, in order to please the Father, remind the Father of his praises and his duties by saying, you are the merciful one, you are the almighty authority, you are the bestower of blessings, you are the one for the children, etc., etc. Sometimes they become so forceful and distressed by Maya that they try to use the weapon of all for all powers. Sometimes they use the words and sometimes they place the shield in front of them. Although they were forceful because of not having the awareness of being obedient, faithful, and constantly an embodiment of remembrance, they forced and reached the target accurately. The scene is very amusing, Baba says. This was from 8/7, 1974, Murli. Then Father says, the corporeal form is your original form and the incorporeal form of your is your internal form. Do you find it easier to stabilize yourself in the original form or in your external form? That is the external form, and the corporeal form is the form that goes away through transformation. So, which form should it be easy to stabilize in? Do you naturally have the awareness of the corporeal form, or do you naturally have the awareness of the incorporeal form? Or Baba says, do you have to make effort to remember them? What need is there to bring into your awareness the form of what you are and how you are? Have you not as yet become an embodiment of remembrance? In this the stage of at the end, or is it that those who practice this over a long period of time are able to attain this stage and pass with honors? At present, the thought in the mind of the effort maker is that they will become victorious, free from obstacle, and destroyer of obstacle at the end. The thought is a royal form of carelessness. That is, it is a royal form of Maya. It creates the obstacle to your becoming complete. The carelessness doesn't allow you to become the embodiment of success or an image that is equal to the Father. The other thought you have of is of counting the time to destruction. You continue to think what will happen, how will it happen or not. This is not the direct form, but instead it is the direct form of doubt. Therefore, you don't tell them directly, but instead you use your royal words. What will happen? How will it happen? You think in this way, just as time is coming close. So too, are you making yourself as close as those golden aged deities in their specialities? Baba says, do you know why or for whom destruction is to take place? Destruction will take place for the intense effort makers, for those souls who become complete in order for them to experience the reward of perfect world and Satopradhan elements. So, should you continue to count the moments to destruction, or should you be constantly counting the qualifications of becoming like the Father again and again in order to make yourself perfect and Satopradhan? This is a very, very important point. So, instead of waiting for the time of destruction, you should engage yourself in the preparation for making yourself complete and perfect like Father. Instead, you spend a lot of time in waiting. If those who are experience this reward spend their time waiting, then they are enable a subtle thought to reach all those other ordinary souls who receive an ordinary reward. As a, as a result, the majority of the soul use the words, we will see about this when destruction takes place. When we see the practical influence, then we will also make efforts. Who knows what will happen or how it will happen? Even these vibrations of the instrument soul become the reason for making others weak and deprive them of their fortune. And this was said on 9 January 1975. You come here every year and say that you will now do this. You return from here having made a promise. When will you fulfill this promise? What is the reason? Why is there a difference in what you think and what you do? What is the reason for this? You think of doing something completely, but you are only able to do it by half. What is the reason for this difference? You create many plans, you have a lot of enthusiasm, and you make a promise with full understanding. All types of situations will come, but there is a difference between the understanding and the practical. What is the reason for this? If you go from here having sacrificed all your sanskar, then where do they all emerge from? Why do they return if you have sacrificed them? If you have sacrificed them, what is the reason for your body consciousness and carelessness to return? The reason is that just as after sowing seed, you look after them carefully. So you go from here with the thought of sacrificing them, but together with the thought you need to take care of it. If you don't take the care that you should according to the time, you need to take the necessary care of it. So if we sow the seed that we will become karmatit, that we will, you know, you are a deity soul, you will become the goddess of coolness. You have to keep on watering it every now and then. And that's what the Sovan practice is. So Baba says, but you sow the seed and then become careless. You think now that you have given it to Baba, Baba has to look after it, and that is now Baba's duty. You do not sustain it, you need to pay attention to your thoughts and words. Just as after sowing the seed, you water it so that it ripens. And you have to water it every day. In the same way, you have to revise the seed of your thought. You lack this, and then you become free from any concern. You leave it up to Baba. What would you call those who are not concerned? Baba says they become those who love rest and comfort. You should not be those who have the sanskar of loving rest and comfort, but those whose thoughts are filled with concern. There should be a concern for each and every sanskar. The stain of something missing in even one aspect of your effort is visible as a very big stain. Very important point. Baba said that. The stain of something missing in even one aspect of your effort is visible as a very big stain. Then there is always the thought that even one small stain will reduce your value. Your thought should be in the form of concern. If they are not this, then there is the carelessness. We have to understand that. You say something, but you don't do it. At the end, you will have to put into a practical form the yukti given. But now the sanskar of rest and comfort of the deity stage are pulling you more. The sanskars of the confluenced age Brahmans, which of the embod are of the embodiment of renunciation and not in an emerged form so much. Without renunciation, you cannot create your fortune. To think, Acha, I will do it later, I will see about it later, are sanskaras of one who loves rest and comfort. One who says, I will definitely do it now, are the sanskaras of a Brahmin. In the worldly, you know, so Baba says, in the worldly studies, those who have concerns for their studies are the one who pass because they are even ready to lose their sleep. How can those who love rest and comfort pass? Are you still thinking about it, or are you going to do it practically? You should be concerned. You should have pure thoughts and have the concern to become perfect, the concern to remove your weaknesses, and the concern to give practical, instant fruit. You feel that the final paper should take place very soon so that you can attain your rewards of the Sun Dynasty. But are you ready for the exams? Is it that you will have to be ready? Or do you feel that you will be ready on time? Big question mark. If you think that the time will make you ready, then such thoughts of carelessness will not allow you to become powerful. In front of powerful thoughts, all these various wasteful and careless thoughts would finish. You don't have any carelessness, do you? Are you cautious and clever? Good question. So we should ask this ourselves like every hour, are am I cautious and clever, or am I in carelessness? And this was said on 28/08/75, but in book date given has it's 01/09/75. So the other paragraph, Baba says, in order to become a constantly ignited light, the main dharana needed is that of being tireless. When there is tiredness, there is sleep. The specialty of tirelessness was always experienced in Sakar Baba. So Sakar Baba was always connected with Baba, and he was very conscious of his, um, that he has to make the effort, and he was not careless. He was always connected with Baba. So we have to, that he has a great responsibility, and that great responsibility did not allow him to sleep. So the specialty of tirelessness was always tirelessness was always experienced in Sakar Baba. The one who followed the Father in this way become ever lit light. You should always check if will's moving and walking. Any type of tiredness makes you sleep in the sleep of ignorance. This is why the memorial of the special virtue of becoming the conquerors of sleep a kalp ago has also been remembered, right? The conquerors of sleep. Who are we? We are the conquerors of sleep, right? You have to become the conquerors of every type of sleep. You also have to make a list of which type of sleep do not allow you to become the conqueror of sleep. Before falling asleep, there are visible signs of sleep. The signs of that sleep is yawning, and the signs of the sleep of ignorance is sorrow. Very important point to remember. Very, very important point. So if you are sorrowful, if you have that sorrow and sadness in you, that's a sleep of ignorance. Look out for such type of signs. That's why Baba says, be in happiness always. Khushi mein raho. There are two main aspects of this. One is laziness and the second is carelessness. Firstly, it is these signs that come and then later the intoxication of sleep. Therefore, thoroughly check this. Along with checking, you also have to change. Don't just go on checking. You have to do both checking and changing. Acha. And this Baba said on 10/09/75. If those who are carrying out establishment are dependent upon destruction, then what would be their future? Who would then be the image of support for igniting the flames of destruction? Who would then transform the elements? Can those who are standing on the support of the elements or the destruction be the highest among human beings? That is, can they be the most elevated beings, or is it that the instrument for destruction and the elements will carry out their task on the orders of the elevated thoughts of the elevated human beings? And on the basis of all the images of support becoming complete, who will give the order? Who has all rights? The elements or the most elevated beings? Would you call the images of support those with all the rights if they are dependent on some support? So, what did Baba sees? Those who are making preparations are waiting in anticipation. They are careless in making preparations and alert in waiting. Very important. Seeing this, Bab Dada was amused and also felt mercy. Why children are even now not able to recognize the cleverness of Maya. Maya is putting you to sleep in the sweet sleep of waiting. And because of being under the influence of the sanskar of sleeping for half a kalpa, some doze off for a second, then become conscious again and develop force in making preparations. Whereas other fall asleep for a few minutes, then become conscious and develop that force. The third type of children are sleeping comfortably and every now and then open their eyes to see whether anything has yet happened or not. They think we will think about it when it happens. Would you not be amused if you were to see the scene? Since they sleep and this keep checking if anything is happening or not. This Murli is from 23rd 10 1975. So the next 15 pages I'm going to read in part 4. And please subscribe to this channel if you feel like you want to follow more, and for the other great books that are coming. Om Shanti. I will be reading this entire book, and I'll be reading other books as well. So please stay tuned. Thank you. Om Shanti.